Hi, ladies.
Hey. Hi.
Please tell me one by one about your first period experience.
First of all, this is exclusive information.
Yeah, nobody knows.
This traumatized me for decades.
No way.
Well, I got my very first period when I was about 12.
Okay.
And at the time they said that, I was really young. And I had it in class. I remember I had to put my maths book at the front, at the teacher's desk. And then I just kind of felt like, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I stood up to take my book at the front. Then all I heard from the back was people mumbling.
Oh, no.
I know, it was a traumatizing experience. And then this one boy was really kind to me. And my teacher at the time, I think, picked it up and noticed it real quick and just held my hand and said, Monique, who cut you? Let's go outside. And then, so I remember getting home. I was taken home by the school administration. They took me home.
Yeah.
And then I found my mom and dad at home and I told my mom about it. I remember that's the very first time I got, a brand new set of designer innerwear. And she was like, now you're a big girl, and but she'd already told me about it before.
Okay.
But she also acknowledged that it came a little earlier than she expected. I begged to be transferred.
Oh.
I didn't want to go back to that class. But when I did go back, I think somehow the school had a way of talking to everyone and letting them know, okay, you hush that story. Like, no discussing it. Everyone was kind to me since then, and that was the exclusive information.
Great.
Yeah, so for me, my parents were divorced when I was 12 years old. So I got my period a year later. So that unfortunately meant my mom wasn't around.
Yeah.
We were with my dad, and so it was extremely. Obviously, dad's not the person you go to talk about your periods, obviously, but unfortunately. So I freaked out. We were at a barbecue with some friends and family friends, and so I just sat with my legs held really tightly the whole night, and I didn't move. I didn't go get my food, whoever served me. I think my sister brought me some food. She was really young at that time. But that was it, and then I go home and there was no mom at home, so what am I going to do? So I just kind of figured it out. I played around with some tissue, I remember, and the next day when I got to, there was no mobile phones or WhatsApp at that time, like, Mom, what do I do? Yeah. So I had to wait till the next day when I'm going to meet her, and then I told her, and she was like, oh no, and it was very emotional for her, obviously not being able to be there at that specific time. And thankfully she was there with my grandma at the same time, and they sat me down and they talked to me, and culturally we normally have like this big party where on the first period a girl, all the aunties and the grandmas and everyone come together. So they did that for me on the same week, and we had cake and food, and I got so many gifts. So it was a happy experience. Wow. It was very emotional because of the divorce obviously and her inability to be there immediately, but it worked out well. So that was my story.
Great.
Oh, mine, we didn't have a bash. Anyway, for me, my mom had prepared me. Reason being, I went to boarding school when I was in class 4. Wow. So my period came when I was in class 5. And interesting you talk about tissue because that's exactly what I did. I was in class, I went to the loo. You have this feeling.
Wettish.
What am I like controlling?
Yes.
I should be able to control whatever it is.
Exactly. It's not something
just blocked out of you.
No, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. And so when I went to the loo, I always used to carry with me tissue. When you're in boarding school, you're always carrying stuff with you. So I actually used tissue. When my mom had bought me pads, the only thing I didn't like about it, I think for me my experience was what I experienced after. First, it was a lot of pain, a lot of cramps, and worse was using the pad and getting such a rash in my groin area.
The sensitivity.
Exactly. And I kept asking, is this how it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Well, over time, I've learned how to,
manage.
I know how to do this thing now. But then that was the challenge for me. Just having pads and thinking every other month, time for using those things again. But otherwise that's my experience.
And here we are. We made it.
Freely talking about your first period. This is a step as a woman, and talking in front of men.
I've never talked about my first period.
Really, this is your first time.
When you said that is when I'm like.
When was?
I've never shared this with anyone.
I've not talked about it at all.
Exclusive.
I haven't, and I had the conversation like 2 days ago with my daughter because I can see
Signs.
And it's so funny that you talk about you didn't want to go to the school, because I've heard so many period stories, and there's this girl who actually is the man who was narrating it. The girl stood up, he saw the blood, pointed it to everyone, they all laughed, and he said he never saw that girl back to school again.
I didn't know what
The girl was like, I'm never going back.
I know, but big up to your teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Mrs. Omo.
Yeah.
Mom,
That's so
I don't know where you are right now, but Mrs. Omo.
Who cut you?
Cut you, girl.
She said, you got, and I was whisked away like a
Yeah. Like, go, go, go,
That's
go.
very important.
It started. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi, please tell me your name and about your first period.
My name is Celia Nasimi. And should I just get into the first period?
Yeah, just go straight, dig deep. We're open here.
I got my first period when I was 14 years old. So was I 15? I think I was 15 because I was in Form 3. I finished high school at 16. So yes, I was 15. I got my first period. I woke up in the morning. I had only one pack of pads that I used to carry when I was in Form 1, 2, and then I was in Form 3, and I'd never used it. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? Actually, I was so shocked. I remember asking the girl who slept at the lower bunker, because I was at the top, I asked her, hey Betty, what can I do? I said that I had my piece. And she was like, well, you just have to put it on your panty and then wear it. And that's it. And I told her I only have like a pack that had 6. She said, yeah, you actually can use 1 a day. So I remember putting on 1. And then I was in pain the next day, and I just felt so bad, like, why is this happening to me so early? When I closed school and went home, I told my mom about it, and she was like, I had not told you about this because I knew you'd get it after Form 4, because she got hers after Form 4.
Oh, okay.
And I started feeling like, why did I get mine so early? Maybe I'm a different person, and that's why I got it early. And I had no idea because we had not talked about it prior to that. So, yeah, it's pretty much my short.
Wow, very memorable. And are you now?
It like yesterday, even the lady who's I called that bedmate, but we used to say Betty.
Yeah.
She's called Maureen Mamere, and she really helps me.
Wow, look at you, turning into a woman. Okay, thank you, Celia. Hi, please tell me your name and about your first period.
Well, I'm Mandy. I'm not a young girl really, so my first period happened many years back. But when it happened, I actually was not told that it will happen to me. I grew up in India, and in the 90s India that time, 80s. In 1980s India that time, they probably did not do a education regarding this very well. So I used to find out from my friends. I was one of the last ones to have the cycle in my age group. I was 14 plus.
Yeah.
And when I had it, I was so scared that I was crying and screaming, thinking something had gone wrong with my body.
Oh no.
Till my grandmother, I used to live with my grandmother, my parents were out. My grandmother came running to me and she smiled. We could not understand why on earth she was smiling when I was screaming. And I was horrified. And she was cool. And she said, no, wait, it happens. I'll tell you what to do. Anyways, I took some time to be calmed down because I actually was very scared. And then my grandmother sat me down, explained to me, and my mom came. But I really don't know why there was no awareness that this should come to me. I was probably ready for it. And my friends had it before me, incidentally. I think at 13, 12, some of them had started. I used to hear them talking about something and hush up when I used to come in.
Oh.
I still don't understand that also. So later on when this happened, I realized, and I told them, and then I realized this is what they used to talk. And since I had not had mine, they would think it was not proper to tell in front of me. It's quite a different experience, or I don't know, it's a similar one with other people, I don't know. So I remember going back to my diary and writing the red night, the big night.
The red night.
Frightened.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mandy.